His name was Johannes with Stand Up Sadness. A round of applause for Johannes.
Hi. I'm going to tell a joke. But before I tell a joke, I'll give you a little bit of context. I'm a Canadian. I live and work in Vienna. I've had it very easy. I had a job pretty much immediately. Built-in friend group. I spoke a little German, but my job was in English. So, very lucky. Not all Ausländer who come to Austria are so lucky. Sometimes you come for love. You travel across the world to the other side of the planet. And you don't speak the language. You don't have job opportunities. You're kind of bored. No friends. No life. And that brings me to Jenny Mackenzie from Ottawa, also Canadian. She met Hansi, who's an Austrian, when she was in Mexico on vacation. And they bonded over their love of Celine Dion. Make some noise if you love Celine Dion! Okay, that's more noise than I was expecting. Every couple has a song. Their song was My Heart Will Go On. But they loved each other. It was great. She moved to the other side of the planet with Hansi from Kufstein. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Hansi. His mother died when he was very young. His father, police officer. He followed in his father's footsteps. He probably shouldn't have. Yeah, so the thing about Hansi you should know coming in is that not having a mother, he had like this gulf, this emptiness inside of him where love should have been. And his father, so strict, wanted a son, wanted a different kind of son. Hansi, very, very sensitive, bullied a lot in school, really wanted his father to love him. So he became a police officer. It didn't fit. He knew it didn't fit, but he does it anyway because we make bad choices. Anyways, the joke starts when Jenny Mackenzie has already been living there for well over a year. There's a lot of friction in the relationship. It's not going very well for the reasons I've already outlined. It's February in Kufstein. It's cold. It's windy. There's this sort of icy, sleety rain coming down. Oh, one thing I should have said about Hansi. He's not like a detective. He issues parking tickets. So that's what he ends up doing because he's not like police face. He shouldn't be there. Anyway, so he's out in Kufstein. I think it's a Tuesday. It's not a great Tuesday for the reasons I've mentioned. And he's looking across the street at a crosswalk, and he sees what must be a hallucination. He sees a penguin. So he blinks once, blinks twice. This must be a mirage. No, the penguin's still there. And then, as if that wasn't weird enough, she appears. Blonde, fashionable, radiant, Canadian, and very, very familiar. She crosses the street over to this penguin who's waddling around looking a little bit confused. She goes down and inspects the penguin, and then she looks around, and she sees Hansi. And Hansi's like, holy shit, that's Celine Dion! So Celine Dion and this penguin are walking toward Hansi. He's like frozen. He's just like, holy shit, Celine Dion, what do I do? And so she comes to him, and he's like, you're Celine Dion! And she's like, excuse me, officer. And he's like, no, you don't get it. My wife and I love you. My heart will go on. That's our song. And she's like, cool. But anyways, officer. And he's like, no, seriously, my wife would love this so much. Can I have your autograph? And he's like pulling out his pad. And she's like, all right, sure. I guess I'll sign an autograph. So she signs his pad. And he's like, oh, thank you. This is going to be so great for us. We've been having issues lately. And she's like, but anyways, officer, I found this penguin on the street, and I don't feel like it really belongs here. So what should I do with this penguin? Hansi looks down at the penguin, looks back up at Celine, blushes, and he's like, you should take it to the zoo. There's a nice one in Epps. Yes, I researched this joke. Anyways, she flashes him her most radiant smile. He blushes again. And she's like, thank you, officer. And she walks off with the penguin. And Hansi watches her and doesn't say anything. But he has a lighter mood for the rest of the day. And he keeps looking at his pad. But something bothers him. Her signature, it kind of looks just like a squiggle. I mean, as many of our signatures do. But something starts nagging him about it. Anyways, so he goes home to Jenny Mackenzie, and he's like, hey, guess what? I met Celine Dion today. By this point, she has some reservations about kind of believing anything he says. There's some trust issues in the relationship. So she's just like, uh-huh. And he's like, no, look, I got her autograph. And so he shows his wife the squiggle. It doesn't really look like anything. And for Jenny, like, there's been this thing kind of building up in her. Like, there's been a lot of, like, aggression, I guess. She's been despairing at her lack of friends, her lack of a local life. And she just bursts, like, why would you say this to me? Why would you tell me this lie? It's clearly a lie. Celine Dion wasn't there. Why would you tell me this thing? You're trying to prove something, and I don't like it. Long story short, because we do only have 15 minutes here, he ends up on the couch in the living room. So the lights are off. He's staring up at the ceiling and he's like, God, I can't do anything right. I can't believe it. Why didn't I take a selfie? What's wrong with me? I'm a failure. And yeah, it's a long and sleepless night. The next morning, the tension is thick in the air. He tries to kiss her goodbye. She refuses. What he doesn't know is that as soon as he leaves for work, she's going to pack her bags. And she's going to go to the airport and fly back to Canada. It didn't work. Sorry. Anyways, so it's another cold, rainy, windy day in Kufstein. And he's walking on the street looking for cars to give tickets to. And at some point near lunchtime, the clouds part, and this ray of sunlight shines on his face, and it warms him up a little bit. And he's like, oh, that's nice. And then, across the street, he sees her. Not his wife, no. He sees Celine Dion and the penguin. And he's like, oh my God, this is a sign. I'm being given a second chance. And so he runs across the street, nearly gets hit by a car as he's running. And it all just kind of bursts out on him. Like, all of this, like, pent-up aggression, sadness, despair. He starts weeping. And he's just like, Celine, hi, it's me, the officer from yesterday. Can you please take a selfie with me? I should have done it yesterday. I don't know why I asked for an autograph. But I need to show my wife something. I think we're going to break up. Anyways, obviously, Celine Dion, she's not heartless. I mean, this is pretty unprofessional, but she's like, yeah, of course. So they take the selfie together. Months later, he would look at the selfie and he would think, okay, that's the lightest I looked. That's the happiest I looked since my wedding. But anyway, so they've taken the selfie. And he looks down and he sees the penguin again. And he's like, oh, you still have the penguin. I thought I told you to take him to the zoo. And Celine says, yes, I took it to the zoo. And now we're going to the movies. Thank you. I was the Johannes Blitzel.
So, vielen Dank für Johannes Blitzel.